Hey, what's going on everybody? Commander Crane here, and we are back with another Pioneer deck tech, and today we're going to be talking about the newest version of Selesnya cats in Pioneer. I'm very excited to share this list with you. As always, at the end of the video, let me know in the comment section below, is there a specific cat that I didn't put in this deck that I definitely should have, or do you have suggestions for upcoming videos? Just let me know in the comments section. And before we hop into it here, this is our third video featuring new cards from Magic Foundations in Pioneer. So if you haven't checked out the other two videos, I definitely would after you're done watching this video. So what's the main inspiration that happened from Foundations that maybe want to renew this deck? Because I've done Selesnya cats a few times on the channel here, and that's because of these two cards, Savannah Lions and Arabo the First Fang. And I know what you're thinking, Savannah Lions, like it's just a 2-1 for 1, like that's not exciting at all anymore. And you want to know what? You're pretty much right. But the most important thing is cats, until Savannah Lions, has not had a 2-power 1-drop, like, efficiently. Obviously, you'll see on the next slide, they kind of had one situationally, but in terms of just a 2-1 for 1 mana, this is the first one that cats has had in Pioneer. So that's why it's really, really important that this deck got Savannah Lions. But the other card that makes this deck really, really exciting is Arabo the First Fang. This is a fantastic lord for this deck. Obviously, give the other cats 1-1, but whenever it or another non-token cat enters, create a 1-1 white cat creature token, which is that's just super duper strong. Spoiler alert, we have a certain 4-mana instant spell that helps us put more cats into play. So when we put Arabo in, all the cats just get bigger and we get more cats, and it's really, really good. I would say Arabo is arguably the best card in the entire deck. But let's go and take a look at what else we're playing in this deck. So the other 1-drop cats. We're playing 4 Leonin Vanguard and 2 Sacred Cat. Leonin Vanguard is our pseudo 2-power creature, but it's only on combat on our turn. It actually is a 2-power creature, but it's still very, very good. And then Sacred Cat, essentially, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of this card. I really wanted another 1-drop, and this is our best option, which, I mean, Sacred Cat by itself is not a bad card. It's definitely just not as good as Leonin Vanguard or Savannah Lions. So that's why we're just playing the 2 copies of that. The other new card that I am super excited for in this deck is Sky Knight Squire. I talked about it a little bit during my top Foundations cards in the set, and this was like my number 4 card because this card is super, super strong. Whenever another creature you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. As long as this creature has 3 or more 1/1 counters on it, it has flying and is a knight in addition to its other types. This cat is just incredible. I mean, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, gains flying. What's not to like about this card? This card's good even in non-cat decks, but luckily for us, it happens to have the cat creature type. So, huge fan of Sky Knight Squire. Let's go and take a look at the rest of the cards in this deck. So, obviously, we're playing 4 Fleecebane Lion, 3/3 for 2, a really nice activated ability. What's not to like about Fleecebane Lion? And then some of our 3-drops that we're playing, 2 Cutsil, Malamet Exemplar, and 2 Pride Sovereign. I really like Cutsil in this deck. Making our opponents not be able to cast spells on our turn is really, really big, especially against control decks, where they have the end step Memory Deluge, or they have the Get Lost and they want to wait till there's a better target, or the Wandering Emperor. Just being able to stop that is really, really good. And then obviously the nice ability there, being able to draw cards. Whenever creatures you control, each with power greater than its base power, deals combat damage to a player. So essentially we have a Lord in play, this triggers, which is really, really good. So definitely huge fan of Cutsil. And then Pride Sovereign is just a really strong card. I mean, it just gets really, really big. Obviously, it gets 1/1 for each other cat we control, and then we can tap it to make some more cats. Overall, Pride Sovereign is just really, really good. We're playing 2 copies of that. And then the last side we have to talk about here, for 2 Kahira and 4 Feline Sovereign. So with these combined, we're playing 9 Lords in our deck. It's a little bit awkward just because 2 of our Lords are legendary creatures, so we can't stack them. So that's why we're playing Feline Sovereign, at least 4 copies of it. I do like Feline Sovereign. It has the advantage of being a 2/3, so it doesn't die to cards like Torch the Tower, or at least, unless you bargain it, or it doesn't die to any shock effects or anything like that. But something to keep in mind, though. But I do like Kahira. We are obviously playing the companion Kahira as well. But in total, we have 9 Lords, which is really, really good for this deck. And then the advantage to getting Arabo, and I would say the biggest advantage, is we can play Collected Company in this deck. Before, we didn't have a lot of Lords, and we didn't have Sky Knight Squire. We didn't have another good 1-drop. So basically, the deck had to be this weird pseudo, like it's an aggro deck, but you would play like 4 drops like a Seeker's Chariot and 5 drops like Regal Caracal, which not that those cards are bad, but when you're playing an aggro deck like this, you really want to play Collected Company, and now you can because of the new cats that we received in this deck, which is just fantastic. Collected Company being able to just Coco into double Lords is just absolutely brutal for our opponents, but it's great for us, so it all works out in the end. So this is the entire main board. Let's go and hop into the lands real quick, which the lands is really simple. We have a standard green-white mana base, 4 Razorverge Thicket, 4 Temple Garden, 3 Brushland, 4 Branch Law Pathway, 1 Aganjo, and 1 Boseiju. And then rounding out our lands, we are playing 2 Cavernous Souls, 2 Mutavaults, and 2 Plains. I really do like the Mutavaults in this deck just because obviously it's a cat, but do keep in mind it's a little awkward with cards like Fleecemane Lions, so it might affect your curve, you know, occasionally every so often, but other than that, Mutavault is just going to be a fantastic card. And then as our spicy basic land of the day, I really like the Plains, or really all the full art lands from Magic Foundations in general, but obviously we are a cat deck, so we had to feature the Plains with a Johnny on it. It makes perfect sense. It's very fitting for the deck. So don't go anywhere yet though. We still have to talk about our sideboard as well as some budget options for the deck. So sideboarding is going to be relatively simple with this deck. Graveyard Hate. Oh, we're in white? Okay, we play Rest in Peace. Really, enough said. There's really no more explanations I need to give with that. Protection spells. There's a lot of cheap removal going around in the format, or even just removal in general. I really like Surge of Salvation in the sideboard. Normally, I would go with Brave the Elements, but unfortunately, there are a decent-ish amount of non-white cats in this deck that don't get protected from Brave the Elements, so I'm just playing Surge of Salvation, but it also does double as giving yourself Hexproof too, so, you know, it kind of has pros and cons, but I do like the Surge of Salvations in the sideboard. Extra removal. I'm packing a few Portable Holes and Get Lost. Portable Holes mostly for like the really fast, quick aggro decks, and then Get Lost is just a fantastic white removal spell in the sideboard. And then there's Kahira. Obviously, we're playing all the cats, so why don't we go ahead and play Kahira? And speaking of Kahira, I forgot to mention for Graveyard Hate, I am playing a few Cutzel's Flankers, which kind of does, you know, work with the Graveyard Hate, but it also, you can board them in and you can still get to play Kira, which is very important. And then the last thing we have to talk about is the budget options for this deck, which I'll be honest with you is really straightforward. The budget dual lands, go ahead and cut the Cavernous Souls, cut the Temple Gardens, and even some of the expensive utility lands like Aganjo and Boseiju, and just go ahead and play some more budget-friendly options in general. I know you can also play Animal Sanctuary, which that card's kind of cool. And then go ahead and sub out the Get Lost with Fateful Absence. Fateful Absence is not quite as good as Get Lost, but it is still a very good card in its own right. And in terms of, you know, budget cards, that's really about it for the most part. I know that the Sky Knight, oh goodness, I'm forgetting the name of it all of a sudden. I know that that card's like $4 a piece right now, so it's relatively pricey. And I knew the new Arabo's a couple bucks as well, but I would definitely expect those cards to go down as more packs of Magic Foundations are opened. But the current list as it's constructed right now is only $268 US, which I would say is, you know, slightly below average in terms of cost for a Pioneer deck, so that's pretty good overall. I'm really happy with that, but I was able to get the budget list down to $89 US, which is super cheap for a Pioneer deck. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't even cut any of the creatures in the main board. It was just adjusting the lands and some of the sideboard cards. That's it. Those are the only budget things that I actually made for this deck. The entire core of all the creatures is still the exact same. So I'm really excited about this deck for Magic Foundations. For those who didn't watch my original video a couple months ago, I was really hoping that we were going to get some Cat Lords, and although we didn't get King of the Pride, we did get Arabo, which is, I would say, much better than King of the Pride. Overall, I'm really excited to play this deck in Pioneer. I'm definitely going to be playing this on some paper videos coming up here on the channel, and let me know in the comment section below if you do end up building cats for Pioneer, or if you already have cats in Pioneer or another format and you want to show me your list, just put it in the comment section, and I will definitely take a look at it. So, that takes us to the end of the video here. Thanks so much for watching. The deck lists are in the description below if you'd like to check them out for yourself. Huge shout out to our channel members, Ralph, Matt, Arcadius, Ray, Gary, Saronoki, and Night Red 3. If you were interested in being a channel member, it's only $1 US a month. You get access to the exclusive Commander Crane Discord, as well as other features here on the channel. So, I'm Commander Crane. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope to catch you in the next one.